Hi guys, welcome to my study compass. In this video, I'll be walking you through the past paper, Math P2, Variant 2, May-June 2022. Let's get started. At noon, the temperature is 4 degrees Celsius. At midnight, the temperature is -9 degrees Celsius. Work out the difference in temperature between noon and midnight. To get the difference in temperature, we subtract the lower temperature, which is -9 degrees Celsius, from the higher temperature, which is 4 degrees Celsius. This gives us 13 degrees Celsius. Thibault records the number of cars of each color in a car park. He draws a pie chart to show this information. Calculate the sector angle for the red cars. This sector angle is equal to the number of red cars, which is 3, divided by the total number of cars, 8 plus 5 plus 4 plus 3, times 360 degrees. This gives us 54 degrees. Figs cost 43 cents each. Lyra has $5 to buy some figs. Calculate the largest number of figs Lyra can buy and the amount of change in cents she receives. To get the number of figs Lyra can buy, we divide the amount she has, which is $5, by the cost of one fig, which is 43 cents. We convert $5 to cents by multiplying 5 by 100. This gives us 11.6. This means Lyra can buy a maximum of 11 figs. To get the change she receives, we subtract the cost of getting 11 figs, which is 11 times 43 cents, from the amount she pays, which is 500 cents. This gives us 27 cents. Find the value of square root of 68 times square root of 153. When we type this into the calculator, we get 102. Find the total surface area of a cuboid with length 8 cm, width 6 cm, and height 3 cm. Here is the formula for the total surface area of a cuboid. L is 8 cm, W is 6 cm, and H is 3 cm. When we type this into the calculator, we get 180 centimeters squared. Some cards have either a square, a circle, or a triangle drawn on them. Piet chooses one of the cards at random. Complete the table to show the probability of choosing a card with each shape. The sum of all the probabilities must add up to 1. So to get the probability of choosing a card with a triangle, we subtract the sum of 0.2 and 0.32 from 1. This gives us 0.48. The price of a coat is $126. In a sale, this price is reduced by 18%. Find the sale price of the coat. Since the original price is reduced by 18%, we subtract 18% from 100%, giving us 82%. So the sale price is 82% of the original price, which has been given us $126. This gives us $103.32. The nth term of a sequence is n squared plus 12. Find the first 3 terms of this sequence. To get the first term, we plug in n equals 1 into the nth term, so we have 1 squared plus 12, which is equal to 13. For the second term, we have 2 squared plus 12, which is equal to 16. And for the third term, we have 3 squared plus 12, which is equal to 21. The bearing of B from A is 59 degrees. Work out the bearing of A from B. On the diagram, we've indicated the bearing of A from B. We've been given the bearing of B from A to be 59 degrees. These two are interior angles. Interior angles add up to 180 degrees. So to get this angle, we subtract 59 degrees from 180 degrees, giving us 121 degrees. The sum of the angles at a point add up to 360 degrees. So to get the bearing of A from B, we subtract 121 from 360. This gives us 239. Find P minus Q. We've been given the vector P to be 2, 8 and vector Q to be -1, 4. So to get the resulting vector, we subtract corresponding elements in the two vectors. So 2 minus -1 is 3 and 8 minus 4 is 4. So we have 3, 4. Find 6P. Vector P is 2, 8. So to get the resulting vector, we multiply each element in the vector by 6. So 6 times 2 is 12 and 6 times 8 is 48. So we have 1248. Find the magnitude of P minus Q. We've already found P minus Q to be 3, 4. By applying the magnitude of a vector formula, the magnitude of this vector is square root of 3 squared plus 4 squared, which is equal to 5. Find the value of P when 6 raised to the power P times 6 raised to the power 4 equals 6 raised to the power 28. Since these two have the same base and they are multiplying, their powers add. So we have 6 raised to the power P plus 4, which is equal to 6 raised to the power 28. Since the bases on both sides of the equation are equal, then their powers must also be equal. So P plus 4 equals 28. When we subtract 4 from both sides, we get P equals 24. Annette cycles a distance of 70 kilometers from Midville to Newtown. Leaving Midville, she cycles for 1 hour 30 minutes at a constant speed of 20 kilometers per hour and then stops for 30 minutes. She then continues the journey to Newtown at a constant speed of 16 kilometers per hour. On the grid, draw the distance time graph for the journey. Annette starts her journey from Midville at this point. We are told she cycles for 1 hour 30 minutes at a constant speed of 20 kilometers per hour. We've been given the time duration, so we need to find the distance covered for this part of the journey. We get this by multiplying her speed, which is 20 kilometers per hour, by the time duration, which is 1 hour 30 minutes. We convert 30 minutes to hours by dividing 30 by 60. This gives us 30 kilometers. So on the grid, we mark the point 1.5 hours 30 kilometers. We are told she stops for 30 minutes. 30 minutes is 0.5 hours. 1.5 plus 0.5 hours is 2 hours. Since she's at rest during this time, we mark the next point, which is 2 hours 30 kilometers. From here, she continues the journey to Newtown at a speed of 16 kilometers per hour. The distance from Midville to this point is 30 kilometers. So to get the distance from this point to Newtown, we subtract 30 kilometers from 70 kilometers, which gives us 40 kilometers. So now we need to find the time duration for this part of the journey. We get this by dividing the distance, which is 40 kilometers, by the speed, which is 16 kilometers per hour. This gives us 2.5 hours. 2 plus 2.5 hours is 4.5 hours. So we mark the final point, 4.5 hours, 70 kilometers. So now we connect all the points with straight lines. Calculate the average speed for the whole journey. We can use this formula to get the average speed. The distance covered for the whole journey, D, is 70 kilometers. The time duration for the journey is 4 hours 30 minutes. We convert 30 minutes to hours by dividing 30 by 60. When we type this into the calculator, we get 15.6 kilometers per hour, rounded to 3 significant figures. Without using a calculator, work out 4/1/8 minus 2/5/6. You must show all your working end. Give your answer as a mixed number in its simplest form. First, we need to convert the mixed fractions into improper fractions. So for 4/1/8, we have 8 times 4 plus 1, which is 33, divided by 8. And for 2/5/6, we have 6 times 2 plus 5, which is 17, divided by 6. The LCM of 8 and 6 is 24. For 33/8, since we multiply the denominator by 3 to get the LCM, we also need to multiply the numerator by 3. So 33 times 3 gives us 99. For 17/6, since we multiply the denominator by 4 to get the LCM, we also need to multiply the numerator by 4. So 17 times 4 gives us 68. 99 minus 68 gives us 31. 31/24 is an improper fraction, so we need to convert it into a mixed fraction. 24 goes into 31 one time with a remainder of 7, which we divide by 24. Carlos invests $4,540 at a rate of R% per year compound interest. At the end of 10 years, he has earned $1,328.54 in interest. Calculate the value of R. In this case, we need to apply the compound interest formula. We want to find R, so when we make R the subject, this is what we get. T is the time duration in years for the investment, which is 10. Small a is the initial amount he invested, which is $4,540. Big A represents the total amount of money he has at the end of the investment, which is $4,540 plus $1,328.54. When we type this into the calculator, we get 2.60, rounded to 3 significant figures. Find the highest common factor of 12a cubed b and 20a squared b squared. The highest common factor of 12 and 20 is 4. The highest common factor of a cubed and a squared is a squared. And the highest common factor of b and b squared is b. So we have 4a squared b. The Venn diagram shows the number of students in a class of 40 who study physics, mathematics, and geography. Use set notation to describe the shaded region. The shaded region is in M union G and not in P. We can describe this as M union G intersection P complements. Find N of P intersection G union M complements. In other words, we are to find the number of elements in P intersection G in addition to the elements that are not in set M. So we have 4 plus 3 plus 9 plus 6, which is equal to 22. A student is chosen at random from those studying geography. Find the probability that this student also studies physics or mathematics, but not both. This probability is equal to the number of students who study geography and physics, or geography and mathematics, which is 3 plus 5, divided by the number of students who study geography, which is 23. This gives us 8/23. Sketch the graph of y equals sine x for x is greater than and equal to 0 degrees and less than and equal to 360 degrees. Y equals sine x is a standard graph that we can recall and draw from memory. Or we can pick some sample x values such as 0 degrees, 90 degrees, 180 degrees, 270 degrees, and 360 degrees, and plug in these values into y equals sine x to get their corresponding y values. Then we plot these points and connect them with a smooth line. Solve the equation 3 sine x plus 1 equals 0 for x is greater than and equal to 0 degrees and less than and equal to 360 degrees. When we subtract 1 from both sides of the equation, we have 3 sine x equals negative 1. And when we divide both sides by 3, we have sine x equals negative 1 over 3. To be able to get all the possible values of x in the given range, we need to find theta, which is the sine inverse of the positive value of negative 1 over 3, which is 1 over 3. This gives us 19.5 degrees rounded to one decimal place. Now we draw the quadrants. Sine is negative, so we measure the angle of theta from the horizontal axis in the quadrants where sine is negative. When we go round the quadrant the first time, we get x equals 180 degrees plus 19.5 degrees, which is equal to 199.5 degrees. And when we go round the quadrant the second time, we get 360 degrees minus 19.5 degrees, which is equal to 340.5 degrees. Y is directly proportional to the cube root of x plus 1. When x is 7, y is 1. Find the value of y when x is 124. In mathematical terms, we write y is directly proportional to the cube root of x plus 1. We can rewrite this as y is equal to a constant which we are going to call k times the cube root of x plus 1. We need to find the value of k. We get this by plugging in the values of x and y given in the question into the equation. This gives us 1 is equal to k times cube root of 7 plus 1. Cube root of 7 plus 1 is 2. When we divide both sides by 2, we get k equals 0.5. Now that we have the value of k, when x is 124, y equals 0.5 times cube root of 124 plus 1, which is equal to 2.5. F is inversely proportional to the square of d. Explain what happens to f when d is halved. We are told f is inversely proportional to the square of d, which means f is equal to a constant which we are going to call k times 1 over d squared, which is k over d squared. When d is halved, we have f equals k over half d all squared. 1 over half squared is 4. Based on this, we see that when d is halved, the value of f quadruples. Find f inverse of x. We've been given f of x to be 7x minus 8. To get f inverse of x, we replace f of x with x and replace x with y. When we make y the subject, this is what we get. This expression we have for y is the same as f inverse of x. So f inverse of x is also equal to x plus 8 over 7. Find the value of x when h of x equals g of 1 over 3. H of x is 2 raised to the power x plus 1. This is equal to g of 1 over 3, which we get by replacing x in g of x with 1 over 3, giving us 4 over 1 over 3 plus 5. 4 over 1 over 3 plus 5 is 17. When we subtract 1 from both sides, we get 2 raised to the power x equals 16. 16 can be written as a base of 2, which is 2 raised to the power 4. Now that the bases on both sides of the equation are equal, then their powers must also be equal. So x equals 4. Factorize completely. 2m plus 3p minus 8km minus 12kp. First, let's rearrange the expression to group like terms. For the first two terms, when we factor out 2m, we are left with 1 minus 4k. And for the final two terms, when we factor out 3p, we are left with 1 minus 4k. This can be rewritten as 2m plus 3p times 1 minus 4k. Factorize completely. 5x squared minus 20y squared. The terms have a common factor of 5. When we factor out 5, we are left with x squared minus 4y squared. X squared minus 4y squared can be written as a difference of two squares, which is x squared minus 2y squared. When we apply the factorization for the difference of two squares, x squared minus 2y squared can be written as x plus 2y times x minus 2y. So we have 5 times x plus 2y times x minus 2y. The nth term of a sequence is an squared plus bn minus 4. The first term is negative 3 and the second term is 2. Find the value of a and the value of b. If the first term of the sequence is negative 3, then it means if we plug in n equals 1 into the sequence, we should get negative 3. So we have a times 1 squared plus b times 1 minus 4 equals negative 3. A times 1 squared is a, b times 1 is b. When we add 4 to both sides, we get a plus b equals 1. If the second term of the sequence is 2, then it means if we plug in n equals 2 into the sequence, we should get 2. So we have a times 2 squared plus b times 2 minus 4 equals 2. A times 2 squared is 4a, b times 2 is 2b. When we add 4 to both sides, we get 4a plus 2b equals 6. Now we can get the values of a and b by solving these simultaneous equations. Let's use the elimination method. We want to eliminate b, so we multiply equation 1 by 2. This gives us 2a plus 2b equals 2, which we've labeled as equation 3. So now we can eliminate b by subtracting equation 3 from equation 2. This gives us 2a equals 4. When we divide both sides by 2, we get a equals 2. So now to get the value of b, we plug in the value of a into any of the equations. If we pick equation 1, we have 2 plus b equals 1. When we subtract 2 from both sides, we get b equals negative 1. OA is x, OB is y, and OD is 3 over 7x plus 4 over 7y. Calculate the ratio AD is to DB. First, let's find AD. AD is AO plus OD. AO is negative x and OD is 3 over 7x plus 4 over 7y. When we group like terms, minus x plus 3 over 7x is minus 4 over 7x. When we factor out 4 over 7, we are left with minus x plus y. Minus x plus y is AB, so we have 4 over 7 AB. If AD is 4 over 7 of AB, then DB is 7 minus 4, which is 3. So AD is to DB equals 4 is to 3. The diagram shows a solid metal shape made from a cone and a hemisphere, both with radius 6.2 centimeters. The total surface area of the solid shape is 600 centimeters squared. Calculate the slant height L of the cone. The total surface area of the solid, which has been given as 600 centimeters squared is equal to the surface area of the cone, which is pi rl, where the radius r is 6.2 centimeters, plus the area of the hemisphere, which is 4 pi r squared divided by 2, where the radius r is 6.2 centimeters. 4 pi times 6.2 squared divided by 2 is 76.88 pi. When we make L the subject, this is what we get. When we type this into the calculator, we get 18.4 centimeters rounded to 3 significant figures. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this video useful. See you in the next video. Bye guys.